What happens when a candidate for a lifetime judicial appointment can't answer basic questions about the law? It's more than just an embarrassing moment. It's a critical stress test of the entire system designed to place the most qualified legal minds on the federal bench. This hearing reveals a strategy that senators use not just to understand a nominee's legal philosophy, but to question their fundamental competence for the job itself. Let's look at the key exchange that reveals everything.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Maldonado, did I say that right?
Yes, thank you, Senator.
Okay, you're a key TAM lawyer?
I have litigated key time cases,
Right,
yes.
cool. You're also a yoga instructor?
I am, Senator.
Double cool.
Thank you.
You're going to keep teaching if you're on the bench, or you teach, don't you?
I teach. I actually was, one judge is currently sitting suggested that I do a class for judges.
Oh.
The judges' gym.
Oh, great. Mr. Williams, tell me about the Privileges or Immunities Clause.
Thank you for the question, Senator. The Privileges and Immunities Clause.
Privileges or Immunities Clause.
Right. That's part of the Bill of Rights and part of the, I believe, the First Amendment. It's been a while, Senator. My practice is primarily intellectual property. So it's been a while since I've faced an issue with the Privilege and Immunity.
Mr. Williams, tell me about the Privileges or Immunities Clause.
Thank you for the question, Senator. The Privileges and Immunities Clause.
Privileges or Immunities Clause.
Right. That's part of the Bill of Rights and part of the, I believe, the First Amendment. It's been a while, Senator. My practice is primarily intellectual property. So it's been a while since I've faced an issue with the Privilege and Immunity Clause. It doesn't come up every day in my practice.
Privileges or immunity.
Privilege or Immunity Clause doesn't come up every day in my practice. What I can tell you that if I was faced with an issue that involved the Privilege or Immunities Clause, I would review the binding Supreme Court precedent on the issue and apply that binding precedent to the specific facts of the case in front of me.
Okay. Tell me what rights are guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment.
Sixth Amendment guarantees right to a speedy trial.
Right.
Right to counsel.
Right.
And also right to speedy right to counsel, and also that's the fifth right against self-incrimination, which is in the Fifth Amendment.
Okay. Tell me what the holding was in Obergefell.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question, Senator.
The holding in Obergefell v. Hodges.
Senator, thank you for the question. I haven't had the occasion to deal with that issue. I don't recall that specific case as I sit here in front of you. But what I can tell you is that if the issue decided in that case came before me, I would review binding Supreme Court precedent and apply it to the specific facts of the case in front of me.
Okay. In 2015, Mr. Williams, you gave a speech, and you said that the modern judicial system today is more racist than it was 100 years ago. Did you say that?
Thank you for the question, Senator.
You're welcome.
I don't believe that's the specific quote that I said. I believe you're referring to...
Let me read you the quote so there won't be any misunderstanding. Becoming a felon is more devastating today than when existed during Jim Crow. And you were talking about the judicial system in Delaware.
Thank you for the question, Senator.
You're welcome.
I made those comments as co-chair of the Access to Justice Commission, which was a commission that was created by the Delaware Supreme Court.
Yes, sir. But
I was asked
tell me
to-
what
to-
you meant.
to chair.
I know
So,
I read the interview. Tell me what you meant.
I was referring to a description that others have made to describe the condition of felons in terms of the term Jim Crow, meaning
Well, let me stop you. Do you believe that the judicial system in Delaware, in America, is more racist today than it was 100 years ago?
Thank you for the question, Senator. No, I do not believe that the system today is more racist than it was 100 years ago. What I was describing was the
But why did you say becoming a felon is more devastating today than when it existed during Jim Crow?
I was referring to the conditions of the inordinate amount of people of color who, when they become felons, are faced with loss of economic opportunity, loss of voting rights, loss of driving license, loss of
But that happens
housing.
to an Hispanic as well, right?
It happens to
If you're convicted.
It happens to everyone who becomes a felon, but the task of the committee was to examine the reasons why there's such glaring racial disparities in the population of people of color in Delaware as compared to
And you
the
think
population
you think that's
of
because of
people
racism?
incarcerated.
You think that's because of racism?
I did not say.
I know. I'm asking you. Do you think that's because of racism
I believe that race plays a factor
in Delaware?
across in Delaware and beyond, and that studies have shown that there is a disparity in the prison population that just can't be explained by just nature and it be coincidence, and that race plays some factor. It's not the only factor.
Right.
Economic condition, money, ability to pay bail, et cetera, plays a factor, and some other things play a factor. So at that time, I was serving as
Right. Well,
chair
let me
of
stop
that
you because my chairman here has been very, very indulgent. I'm going to ask you one last question. Do you think photo IDs, requiring a photo ID to vote, is inappropriate?
Thank you for the question, Senator.
You're welcome.
The Supreme Court has held that voter IDs
Right.
requirement for voting
What do you think?
is permissible.
What do you think?
I, Senator, follow binding Supreme Court precedent.
Yeah, but what do you think? You've written articles saying that that's racist, haven't you?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Well, you've written articles opposing voter ID, have you not?
I have not.
Okay. So you think it's okay?
I do.
Okay. That's all I got.
The senator's strategy here is a masterclass in methodical deconstruction. He isn't asking obscure trivia. He starts with the privileges or immunities clause. When the nominee, Mr. Williams, incorrectly identifies it as part of the First Amendment, a major red flag goes up. This clause is actually in the 14th Amendment and is a cornerstone of constitutional law, even if it has been interpreted narrowly. For a judicial nominee to misplace it so fundamentally is alarming. The senator then moves to the Sixth Amendment, the right to a speedy trial and counsel. Mr. Williams gets the basics, but then confuses it with the Fifth Amendment's right against self-incrimination. These are not minor errors. They are foundational concepts taught in the first year of law school. Notice the nominee's recurring defense mechanism. When asked about the privileges or immunities clause, and later about the landmark case Obergefell v. Hodges, which legalized same-sex marriage, he defaults to a prepared statement. I would review the binding Supreme Court precedent and apply that binding precedent. This is a common tactic nominees use to avoid stating personal opinions. However, its effectiveness collapses when you can't identify or recall the very precedent you promised to apply. The senator's questioning exposes this tactic as a shield, not for ideology, but for a potential lack of knowledge. The core themes being targeted are clear: the nominee's basic legal competence, his ability to think under pressure, and the credibility of his own past statements when confronted with them directly. This exchange is about more than one nominee's difficult day. It speaks to a central debate about what we demand from our federal judges. Mr. Williams repeatedly states that his practice is primarily in intellectual property. The unspoken question hanging in the air is whether specialized expertise in one area of law can compensate for a perceived weakness in foundational constitutional principles. A federal judge will hear cases spanning the entire spectrum of American life, from complex commercial disputes to profound questions of civil rights and liberties. Their rulings have immense power. This is why senators from both parties use these hearings to probe for a broad and deep understanding of the legal framework that governs the nation. The process isn't just political theater. It's a public vetting for one of the most powerful and permanent positions in our government. So, what are the key takeaways from all of this? First, a judicial confirmation hearing is a high-stakes examination of a nominee's core legal knowledge, not just their resume. Second, an inability to discuss fundamental constitutional amendments and landmark Supreme Court cases raises serious questions about a candidate's readiness for a lifetime appointment. Finally, the classic nominee response of "I will follow precedent" becomes a liability when the nominee seems unable to recall what that precedent island. It highlights the difference between judicial evasion and a simple lack of preparation. This leaves us with a critical question. Should a deep expertise in a specialized field of law be enough to qualify someone for a federal judgeship? Or is an encyclopedic knowledge of constitutional law a non-negotiable requirement? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this analysis helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video.